Yes, without wasting your time, I'm here to give you guys this video requirements for you to apply for Carta Soggiorno and then what you need to apply for Carta Soggiorno. This is what Prince TV have come to dish out to its fans. But first, make sure you give me thumbs up of this particular video because this is a video where you are going to understand every single requirement you need to apply for Carta Soggiorno. It's going to be a very light video with a light manner where every single human being have to now understand. Those people who have to apply for Carta Soggiorno, if not now, time to come. Now, this video is for you to know the requirements and then how you can apply for Carta Soggiorno. The only favor you have to do for me is to give me the thumbs up and then share this video, to go viral so that people will know the requirements to apply for Carta Soggiorno here in Italy. Now listen attentively without wasting your time. Now listen, it said here, to apply for Carta di Soggiorno, you need to have a minimum yearly income equal to or higher than Italy's yearly social assurance income. In 2021, it was set at €5,983.64. He said that number goes up by 50% for each additional family member you have. So each additional family member you have, it goes up with 50%. If you have been living in Italy with a valid permesso for the past 5 years, you may consider applying for Permesso di Soggiorno EU per soggiornanti di lungo periodo. He said, also known as Carta di Soggiorno or EU long-term permit in English. He said, this permit prevents you from being expelled from Italy unless for several security reasons. He said, and enable you to participate in some form of local public life, for example, referendum at the municipality level. Now listen attentively here. He said, the EU long-term permit also allow you to work or study in another EU country with the exemption of Denmark and Ireland. So now, if you have the long-term permit, which is Carta Soggiorno, you have the right to work in any other European country with the exemption of Denmark and then Ireland. So that is what you have to understand. Who can apply? He said, you can apply for the EU long-term permit if you hold a valid permit of stay, for example, subsidiary protection, refugee status, work or family permit, and you meet the requirement listed below. Now let's get to know the requirements to apply for this Carta Soggiorno. Now listen, he said, if you have motive humanitarian or casi speciale permesso, you are not eligible for the Carta di Soggiorno. However, if you convert your 2 years permit to a permesso per motivo di lavoro subordinato or autonomo, you may become eligible in the future. Now listen attentively, everybody listen to me. Many people think that if you have 2 years documents, maybe for example humanitarian protection, casi speciale or protezione speciale, that after 5 years of holding these documents without converting it to motive of work, that you can apply for Carta Soggiorno. No. If you have any of these 2 years documents, it have to be converted first to motive of work, either lavoro subordinato or autonomo, before you can apply for Carta Soggiorno. So that is one point you guys have to now understand. Now let's go a little bit forward. Now let's see the requirements. He said, as a general rule, you need to meet both the stay and the income criterion listed below to apply for the Carta di Soggiorno. He said you also need to provide your criminal record. So all these things I'm going to mention, that is what you need to apply for Carta Soggiorno. He said if you hold any other eligible type of permesso except refugee status or subsidiary protection, you will also need to meet some additional requirements. To avoid any confusion, we summon up the requirements in the table below. Now let's go for the table and see what they have stated so far. So here comes where I have to place it on my screen. Now listen, if you check on the diagram which you are seeing on my face like this, he said type of permesso. The first place, the one on yellow background, they wrote international protection, refugee status or subsidiary protection. So we have two types of permeto, the refugee status and then international protection, which is asilo politico. Those are two documents which are going in the same category. Then if you check down of it, other permit, work permit. So you can only get this Carta Soggiorno, either you have subsidiary protection, or you have asilo politico, or you have a working permit. So that is the document needed for you to be able to apply for Carta Soggiorno. Now let's go. If you check under the one of refugee status and subsidiary protection, you will see it said stay in Italy for at least 5 years, and then since the day you apply for your C3. Now let me read it out. It said 5 consecutive years in Italy since the day you fill your asylum application C3. Now that C3, that is your first question which they asked you when you arrive in Italy. So starting from that day, that is when it starts counting. That after 5 years, maybe you not get the subsidiary protection or refugee status, then you can apply for Carta Soggiorno. So that is just it. Then he said 5,977 euro 79 cents in 2020. Then it will be added with 50% which each of the family member you have. So that is it. So that is the code which you need. You have to get a code, let me just say 6,000 euro. So that is just it for that. Then criminal record required. So they need your criminal record. Say you never thief before, you never do anything concerning criminal. So if you never do anything like that, if you apply for the Carta Soggiorno. Then if we still go front, many of them are going to ask, say, with A2, I still need them to apply for Carta Soggiorno. If you now see here, your A2 level of Italian language is not required anymore for you to apply for Carta Soggiorno. So you don't need the A2 anymore to apply for Carta Soggiorno. Then, if you go to the next step again, Idianita Allogitiva, that is alloggio. You don't need it as well to apply for Carta Soggiorno. But this particular one, most of the questuras, they will demand that one for you. So that is just it. Now, let's go to the one of work permit. If you check on the side of work permit, almost the same thing. It said 5 consecutive years in Italy since you receive your first permesso. Now, if you receive your 2 years document, protezione speciale, casi speciale, any of them, until the day you convert it to motive of work, they gave you as lavoro subordinato or autonomo, that is when it will start reading that yes, after 5 years of holding that document, you can apply for Carta Soggiorno. So that is what you guys have to also understand on that part. Now, if you go forward, you will still see the same requirements, 5,977 euro 79 cents. Let's just say 6,000 euro could needed for you to apply for the Carta Soggiorno. Now, if we go to the second step, you will see where they wrote criminal record. That criminal record, for you who have your documents as motive of work to apply for Carta Soggiorno, you also need it. Then, if you go to the one of A2 level of Italian language, those people who have subsidiary protection and refugee status, they don't need that particular certificate to apply for the Carta Soggiorno. But if you not check the one of people who have 2 years document, convert it to motive of work, before applying for Carta Soggiorno with work motive, you need the A2 to apply for Carta Soggiorno. So understand now see the difference. You won't get subsidiary protection and asilo politico. You don't need the A2 level to apply for Carta Soggiorno. Why you won't get work permit? After 5 years, when you don't convert a document, if you want to apply, you need the A2 language certificate. Now make a tell now. You go see some people for my videos, they're going to keep comments saying you don't need the A2 to apply for Carta Soggiorno. It depends the types of the documents when you get. Those when they drop those comments because they get subsidiary protection or the one of asilo politico, they apply without the requirements of the A2, the fee and so it be. So that is why you have to study more. Then you know how it will be. You won't get the one of motive of work. You need your A2 to apply for the Carta di Soggiorno. Then the one of alloggio, you need it. It is required. Having motive of work, then you need your alloggio to apply for Carta Soggiorno. So that is just it. Let me summarize this video. Alright, so to an extent, these are the requirements which is needed by you from the Italian authorities for you to apply for Carta Soggiorno. If you don't understand the video well, rewatch them again because it will take you time to really understand. But person when get sharp brain will get them once. So make sure you share this video for me. This is a basic structure from Ministero dell'Interno. I'm giving to you guys. This particular video not supposed to pay me put. But at the time, Prince TV will do all just for free to help my people know how things they play. So if you get these types of documents, then know your requirements when you need. So that is just it. If you have any question, with a due respect, keep it at the comment section. Prince TV will also try his best to give you guys a reply. So that is just it. I greet all the fans of Prince TV. Respect.